What drives someone to view living beings as mere objects? Today, we dive deep into the mind of one of Disney's most chilling villains, Cruella de Vil. Behind her iconic black and white hair lies a psychological profile that reveals the darkest aspects of narcissism and materialism. What you're about to discover will forever change how you see this character, and perhaps question what lurks within our own society. Cruella de Vil emerges from a world of absolute privilege, the fashion elite of London, where appearance reigns supreme and empathy is seen as weakness. Born into wealth, she inhabits an environment where everything has a price tag, including life itself. From childhood, Cruella displays classic signs of narcissistic personality development. Her environment reinforces a fundamental belief: she exists at the center of the universe, and everything else serves her desires. The fashion world becomes her temple, where beauty justifies any sacrifice. Psychologically, this represents what we call object permanence distortion, the inability to see others as autonomous beings with their own rights and feelings. Her early obsession with fur represents more than mere fashion preference. It symbolizes dominance over nature itself, the ultimate display of power over life. Each coat becomes a trophy, a testament to her ability to transform living beings into personal accessories. The luxury bubble she inhabits creates what psychologists term moral disengagement, a psychological mechanism where normal ethical constraints simply don't apply. Rules are for ordinary people. She transcends such limitations. But there was something darker brewing beneath this glamorous surface, a complete disconnection from the fundamental value of life itself. The pivotal moment arrives not through personal tragedy, but through an even more disturbing path: the gradual realization that her desires have no natural boundaries. Unlike traditional villains shaped by loss, Cruella's transformation stems from unchecked privilege meeting infinite ambition. Her obsession with Dalmatian fur represents a psychological escalation, moving from using animal products to actively targeting specific beloved creatures. This shift marks what psychologists call empathy erosion, the systematic breakdown of natural human compassion. The presence of the Dalmatian puppies triggers something profound in Cruella's psyche. She doesn't see adorable creatures deserving protection. She sees the ultimate fashion statement. This reveals a fundamental rewiring of normal human responses, where others feel protective instincts. She experiences possessive hunger. Modern psychology identifies this pattern in extreme materialistic personalities, the inability to distinguish between wanting something and deserving it. Cruella's mind operates on pure entitlement. If she desires it, reality must bend to accommodate her will. Her escalating schemes reveal classic narcissistic supply patterns. Each successful manipulation feeds her ego, requiring increasingly dramatic acts to maintain the same psychological high. The puppies become not just fashion goals, but validation of her superiority over conventional morality. The transformation completes when she begins viewing herself as above natural law. Animals, humans, societal rules all become obstacles to overcome rather than boundaries to respect. And it was there that everything began to unravel into something far more sinister. Cruella's mind begins operating like a twisted business model, where living creatures become inventory and suffering transforms into profit margins. Her thought processes reveal the chilling logic of extreme narcissism. Everything exists for her benefit. She develops what psychologists term instrumental thinking, viewing relationships and beings purely as tools for personal gain. Her henchmen, Jasper and Horace, aren't partners but extensions of her will. The Dalmatians aren't animals, but raw materials awaiting transformation. Her planning becomes methodical, almost scientific in its cold precision. She calculates exactly how many puppies she needs, maps out acquisition strategies, and eliminates variables with ruthless efficiency. This isn't passionate obsession, it's calculated exploitation. The most disturbing aspect emerges in her complete comfort with her choices. She experiences no guilt, no second thoughts, no moments of doubt. This represents the final stage of empathy destruction, where harmful actions feel not just justified, but inevitable. Entitlement, I want them all, and complete disregard for others' feelings. She speaks about living creatures with the same tone others use for shopping lists. Modern research shows how extreme materialism can literally rewire brain pathways, diminishing activity in areas responsible for empathy while amplifying reward-seeking behaviors. Cruella embodies this neuroscientific nightmare, but the true monster was still waiting to emerge from the shadows of her perfectly constructed delusion. The moment Cruella decides to actively pursue newborn puppies marks her complete moral disconnection. She crosses from passive indifference to active predation, a line most humans could never approach, let alone cross with such casual confidence. Her rationalization system becomes perfectly crystallized. She deserves beauty. Beauty requires sacrifice. Therefore, any sacrifice is justified. This circular logic represents what psychologists call moral licensing, using one perceived right to justify unlimited wrongs. She begins experiencing what we might call predatory euphoria, genuine excitement at the prospect of transforming living beings into personal accessories. This isn't reluctant necessity. It's enthusiastic anticipation. The planning itself becomes a source of pleasure. Her interactions with others reveal complete emotional hollowness. When faced with the puppy's owner Anita, her former friend, Cruella shows no trace of genuine connection. Relationships exist only as potential obstacles or opportunities for manipulation. The most chilling aspect, she genuinely believes she's the victim. Everyone else becomes unreasonable for not supporting her vision. This psychological state represents what researchers term malignant narcissism, where self-centeredness evolves into active sadism. The suffering of others doesn't just become acceptable. It becomes irrelevant or even satisfying. And suddenly, we must ask ourselves, what separates calculated indifference from pure malevolence? Cruella's behavior aligns perfectly with clinical research on narcissistic personality disorder combined with materialistic value systems. Studies show how extreme focus on wealth, status, and appearance systematically erodes empathy and moral reasoning. Neuroscientist research reveals that individuals with severe narcissistic traits show decreased activity in brain regions responsible for emotional empathy, the anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex. Cruella's casual attitude toward animal suffering reflects this neurological reality. Her planning methodology mirrors patterns observed in corporate psychopathy, treating living beings as resources to be optimized rather than entities deserving consideration. She applies business logic to biological reality with terrifying efficiency. The fashion industry context isn't coincidental. Research demonstrates how industries focused on appearance and status attract and reward narcissistic personalities. Cruella thrives in an environment that validates her core pathology. Her complete comfort with hiring criminals reveals another psychological pattern: moral flexibility based on utility. She experiences no conflict about engaging with lawbreakers because her moral framework operates purely on personal benefit rather than universal principles. Psychological studies of extreme materialism show how it creates an addiction-like cycle. Each acquisition provides temporary satisfaction, followed by increased craving. Cruella's escalating demands reflect this neurochemical pattern. Most disturbing, her behavior represents the logical endpoint of unchecked consumer culture. When desire becomes identity and acquisition becomes purpose, the boundary between wanting and taking inevitably dissolves. It wasn't madness driving her actions. It was cold, calculated reasoning operating within a completely inverted moral framework. Cruella's impact extends far beyond her immediate actions. She represents the ultimate manifestation of consumer culture as dark potential, where desire transcends all ethical boundaries and living beings become commodities. Her character serves as a mirror for society's own relationship with luxury goods, fashion, and status symbols. How many of us purchase items without considering their true cost in animal welfare or human exploitation? Cruella simply removes the comfortable distance between desire and consequence. The psychological damage she inflicts ripples outward. Traumatized animals, corrupted accomplices, broken friendships, violated trust. Her actions create what researchers call moral injury, psychological wounds that heal slowly and leave lasting scars on community fabric. Yet perhaps most unsettling is her complete lack of redemption arc. Unlike many villains who experience doubt or regret, Cruella remains perfectly satisfied with her choices. She represents pure, unrepentant narcissism, a personality structure that feels no genuine remorse. Her legacy forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about our own moral boundaries. At what point does wanting something beautiful justify causing harm? How do we balance personal desires with ethical responsibilities? Modern psychology suggests that Cruella-like thinking exists on a spectrum. Most people experience moments of self-centered reasoning or moral disengagement. The difference lies in degree and self-awareness, qualities that separate occasional selfishness from systematic exploitation. She becomes a cautionary tale about unchecked privilege, unexamined desires, and the devastating consequences of treating empathy as optional rather than essential. But perhaps the most chilling realization, somewhere in our image-obsessed, status-driven world, the next Cruella may already be taking shape. Cruella de Vil represents more than fictional villainy. She embodies the logical extreme of narcissism meeting unlimited resources. Her story warns us that the line between desire and destruction can be thinner than we imagine. In a world that increasingly values appearance over compassion, perhaps we should ask, what would we sacrifice for the perfect image? The answer might reveal more about ourselves than we're comfortable knowing.